This email is from Scott. I am FTM, female to male transgender, and I identify as a gay man. I've been seeking out relationships with other gay FTM as well as cis men. I'm having a hard time navigating the gay dating scene. I get naughty pictures right off the bat and then proceed to talking about sex. I don't want that right out of the gate. I'm looking for getting to know each other and save the sex talk for later on. Isn't there a different dynamic to gay relationships? Can you give me any advice on navigating the gay dating scene as a trans man?
You know, V, I had this exact conversation earlier today, and for that reason, I really wish I had a better answer. You know, I do want to recognize that the gay dating scene, particularly the gay dating scene online, can be a bit more graphic, if you will, can be a little bit more of a rush towards sexuality. And that's not to say that gay men or gay trans men or that any particular subgroup can be described or labeled in any particular way. I recognize that our sexuality and the different social pressures and everything else on it are way too multifactorial for us to try and parse out here. But I do want to recognize that Grindr is a unique phenomena, that the experience of getting a naked picture on the very first message is a fairly common one in a lot of these communities, particularly for trans folks who are often fetishized in these sorts of spaces. And I think the most advice I could give you is to not lose heart, to make sure that you're protecting yourself and finding ways to interact with the gay community that feel comfortable and acceptable to you, while also being patient, because the dating pool is going to be a bit smaller and the community is going to be somewhat newer or less policed and protected in a lot of ways. And that's just an inherently difficult situation to be in. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to find incredible connection. What kinds of things can you add to that?
Yeah, I do want to make sure that I say that I cannot answer for you what it's like to navigate the gay dating scene as a trans man, because that is very far from my personal experience. But there is a difference in how queer folks interact with each other on dating apps and online. And then there's a completely different environment where queer folks might be interacting with cis people. And I guess cis people can also be queer. But, somebody who is of, trans or non-binary interacting with cis people, that is its own game too. So you're kind of juggling a couple different kinds of interactions and relationships right off the bat, which is tough. One kind of more practical suggestion I guess I can make for you from my experience is staying off Grindr and Tinder and those more like swipe right or left apps, and try something like OkCupid. OkCupid is a little bit more inclusive in terms of the broad spectrum of people that are on it, but you can tailor it and customize it a lot. And you can add things like, hey, I'm not interested in, naked pictures right away. I want to get to know you. I'm interested in, something long term. You can customize exactly who sees you and who you see. So it does give you a little bit more control. And from my experience, the people on that app are less interested in like one night stands and certainly more interested in pursuing something, if not long term, at least, expect it to go on over a couple of dates and then get a friendship going too. So in terms of practical suggestions, I guess that would be where I would start, is just maybe look at the apps that you're using and try to find something that's a little bit more your speed.
Yeah, and I would direct you towards the episode we did back in May or so with Grace Wood, just talking about dating online and dating during coronavirus and everything else that goes into that. I definitely know that picking the right apps and having maybe a different mindset about how you approach these things. I'm not saying that you need to, sign up for a bunch of gold plus expensive subscriptions or whatever else. But it might be worth asking yourself the question, like, how patient am I being? How willing to invest in this am I? How much effort am I willing and able to put in? because if you're looking for something as important as a loving relationship, you may need to be mindful about putting in like a commensurate amount of time and effort for that. And
It takes so
we
much effort.
definitely wish you the best. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck to you. And if you have
Mhm.
questions, you would be somebody I'd be very interested to talk to, especially if you want to share some dating scene horror stories, or maybe some success stories after hearing us talk to you a little bit. So give us a call in 2021.